We hopefully, come on camera, focus. There we go. Hello everybody. Well, that crept up a little bit quick on me. Oh dear, the clock is a couple minutes slow behind me, but obviously the computer's bang on. So it now says I'm live. I've got some new software I'm quickly looking at here. So who have we got in? We've got Andy Beck. How are you, Andy? Oh no, Jack, Vintage Electronics Geek. How are you, mate? Hopefully everyone can see me. I've just quickly chucked the camera up there. I wish I'd give you a countdown to live. If I had a 10-second or 5-second even countdown, I could have a look and see what the picture looks like. Jump in and, well, anyway. Hi, Andrew. And Andrew Alsfa, how are you? Benji, how are you? Bill, Battery Maker, Tony, Anthony Davies, Rob Titheridge. Bit of an echo. Echo, echo, echo. Oh, well. Who knows? Generally. See you in a bit, mate. Hopefully I'll be here for a little while. Hi there, Mike, Racing Demon. Quite a few in already, look. And fair bit to go over today, but I don't know if any of you were in last week's stream, but I think just a fraction under 6 hours. I think 6 hours is the longest live stream you can do, and I think YouTube kicked you off then, so we just made it in time. Hi Sean, how are you, mate? Hopefully you're back from your Remembrance Day parade, or have you got your Remembrance Day parade later? You're probably back from it by now, because everything sort of kicks off sort of 11 o'clock, doesn't it? Got me Poppy in, look. So, hi Theo. I've also got this nice new t-shirt that my good lady bought me for my birthday, look. I don't know if you can see that or not. Bucket list. Bucket of beer, look. Tick off bucket. Beer and ice. Very appropriate. She's got a good sense of humour. Yes. So, welcome once again to live chat. Thanks everyone for joining me again. Quite a few in this morning already, which is great news. Plenty to talk about, I'm sure. I always wonder what I'm going to do every week on a live stream, but I always seem to manage to find something, and it seems to go on for ages, so that seems to be a good thing anyway. Brew today, well, at the moment we're a bit thin on the ground. We've got, I think probably we'll start off with some Purple Panther today, look. Good old drop of porter from the local Liddell. I think the missus is going to nip out and get me something a bit better later though, because she's got a nip in town. So unfortunately we just can't pop down to the local shop. We got like a 10-minute drive into the town, so there is no shops nearby whatsoever. The only thing we've got in the village is a pub. Which is, wow, certainly spent some time there on Friday night. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, so anyway, Purple Panther, good stuff. Porter, 5%, nice. Hi there, Jeff, how are you? Certainly is, Benji. There's always something to do in here. And I've been busy this week. Dunkin' Donuts coffee, yeah, but a bit early for you, I suppose, to be on it, isn't it? We need to catch you a bit later on, really. Hi, Colin Pamplin. Yes, so those of you that follow me on Facebook, follow Radiocruncher on Facebook, and I'll put the link in there if anyone wants it, you'll know that I actually managed to get that amp done. And I was determined that I was going to get it up and running and working for my birthday. Excuse me, a bit of an itchy nose. I had a nosebleed the other day. Determined to get it up and running for my birthday, and it took me till about 5 o'clock on my birthday to actually get it done and finished. And I will say it's working, and it's working really, really well. Really well. Really well. Really well. In fact, I mean that the records, because I've got quite a little collection of vinyl coming on now. The old records are sounding a lot better than they did before, which makes me think probably my preamp would benefit from a bit of a recap and an overhaul as well. But again, if I do my preamp, then obviously I'm going to lose my records. So, oh well. Cheers, Jack, for the late happy birthday. You'll also see that there's super chat on here now. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but apparently if you click on super chat, it highlights your chat, and also the channel gets some revenue from it. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, but if anyone wants to support the channel while we're in chat, not sure exactly how that works, but if anyone wants to support the channel while we're in chat, then please feel free to click super chat, and obviously I'll reply directly to you. I think that's how it works anyway. I was reluctant to enable it, to be honest, because there's so many like clauses. It's like pages and pages of rubbish you got to read through, but there you go. Anyway, so that's the amplifier all done. It was mainly the capacitors. I think some of the capacitors were shorted. I couldn't find, I didn't go through all the transistors, because basically I went through them all with a multimeter. I marked all the ones that were dodgy, and I changed all of those regardless. Most of them that I pulled out, to be fair, showed okay out of circuit, but I went ahead and done them anyway. And as I say, really pleased with the result. Don't send me your amps for repair. Yeah, don't send me the amps for repair. You're gone. Am I gone? Strange. It might have been because I had some super chat thingy come up. I'm not sure what that was exactly. Let's pop the chat out. We're okay. Are we back again? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've got the best Wi-Fi on it as far as I know. I've disabled the rubbish Wi-Fi and I've got the good Wi-Fi on it. Just let it catch up for a minute then. I don't know whether it's something local. Seems okay. Just bear with me. I'll just quickly check the Wi-Fi that I'm on. Okay. Right, we're back on. It could be time to put the Theo, but you know, it is Sunday afternoon, you know. Right, let's get down and zoom in a little bit. Okay, you should be able to see that okay. Oh, we're back. Okay, yeah. I have to quickly mess with the camera a second there. It was doing some strange stuff, but we should be back in the room. I think there's quite a few people actually, Bill, that are working on stuff at the moment. I certainly hear from quite a few people in Facebook Messenger. That's Porter, Cyberflyer. Afternoon, mate. Right, this is the Shorak. Let's get the pretty bit in first, I suppose, which is the case. So the case is back together pretty much. You'll remember the old case had a smashed top on it with lots of damage on the sides. Grill was a bit bent. So basically what I've done then, I've got the grill back on it. I've sprayed that again, oversprayed it because there was a lot of glue bleeding through it. I couldn't get off because I just could not get the glue out of this mesh. So that's all done. Obviously the top panel's back in. I've got to polish this yet, but all the sides are done. fine, all glued back and reinforced. All the brass has been polished. So the case is done. That is, well, apart from polishing the Shark logo, that's done. I then started, well, carried on with the chassis. You'll notice that the ferrite rod's gone. Basically, these ferrite rods, that's the ferrites from it. This is the one that was fitted to the set. All this was unraveled. I have rewound that now and put some wax on it to try and hold it in place, but all that was pulled off. These plastic support brackets are all broken on both. You notice all the plastic's just gone brittle with age and it's all falling apart. Like. So I'm going to swap it and put the decent ferrite on this radio. It's quite good that I had two to scavenge parts from really. So the other thing I've done, I've put a new switch bank in it. This has all been replaced. It took me forever because I had to strip the old switches down. This was the old switch bank. Basically, I've had to rob a couple of the tracks because the pins were broken, and these like little sliders with gold pins on them, they've gone really loose. So that's working much better now. The on-off button is working fine. It's latching. And as far as the rest of the radio is concerned, I've started working through the oscillator section. I had that, which obviously you can see that part of the ceramics broke capacitor. That was touching one of the other components. Whether that was causing a problem, I don't know, but it's been changed. And the other thing was this diode. This is a Mullard. I don't know if you can see that. OA79. I haven't got any of those, but that was just open circuit. It was not conducting in either direction, so I've pinched the one out of the other set for now, but I must get hold of some of those because I haven't got any. I got OA91s and 90s, but no OA79s. So that's as far as I've got with it. I have got some RF noise now on FM, or on what should be AM. Oh, the other thing I changed was this here. This is the first. Where are we? I've got to get used to where the. There we are. I've swapped this one out as well because the old one, the former, was broken on it, and also this peg for the FM antenna was missing, and it was just soldered to the back here. So I've tidied all that up now. I've still got to work through some of this section and just check all the components, but I can't check medium wave or long wave at the moment because the aerial's taken out of it. But yeah, that's the state of play on the Shark anyway, so I'm sure the owner will be pleased. That's nearly back. My 3D printer, which is packed up. The head was jammed solid on it, so I've actually had to send the head back to the manufacturers for repair. So yeah, it's based on the Decca TP85, sure, the Shark. So it is, in theory, that is what it is, but it's been modified by Shark to basically FM has been replaced with an AM airband in it somehow. They've really messed with it, took lots of bits and pieces out. I've got no schematic, and at the moment still the airband isn't working, but it will do possibly one day, hopefully. If not, it'll have to go back. Yeah, as I say, they pulled the FM components out of it. They've obviously left the oscillator. I don't know what frequency the oscillator is supposed to run at. I don't know whether they kept it at 10.7, but I will get the scope on it now to replace those components because I have got some different noise on it than I had before. Doesn't sound very technical, but any change is good in that radio, I can tell you. It's taken me forever to get to this stage on it. So yeah, the diode is slightly different color, but it's exactly the same diode. It's just a glass one instead of the black glass, just clear glass. So yeah, work in progress on that one. Right, hi Paul, how are you? Cody's, you're not going to pop in for long, that's fine. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Jack, I think you just caught me on the back end of that. I have drawn the brackets for the ferrite on the software, but I can't print them because my head is jammed up. So I sent it off on Friday. I think it's a 14-day turnaround once they got it. So they get it probably tomorrow. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks it'll be back. Because I have had someone's asked me for one of these PP7 battery holders. And unfortunately I haven't got any. This is just like ones that I've had that broken, I've glued back together, that I just use for my own radios really. So I got one of those on order. I've had to cancel the order unfortunately, which is a bit of a pain. What are we saying? So Sean's asking, what bands does it do now? Well, FM normalies, I can't read what it says now because I've stuck this back on. It was basically, this radio went from 88 to 100 megahertz originally, and if you look at the airband scale there now, it goes from 110 megahertz to 144, which is the airband, civil airband, and this is just stuck over the top of the old Decca logo. If I go and get you the Decca front a minute, let's just see if I can find that while we're talking about it. I'm not sure what I've done with that now. It's in there. No, can't lay my hands on that for a minute. But yeah, basically they've stuck that plastic strip over the old Decca front. So yes. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat. It's annoying I can't find that Decca thing. It's typical, isn't it? Whenever you want something, it ain't about. I thought I was fairly organised as well, but there you go. Yeah, I think you're right, Jack, and I'm of that opinion. But yeah, basically that is a really old set, Benji. The date on the 1964 look. So 1964, that would have probably been state of the art for airband, wouldn't it? Yeah, it is AM, Rob, yeah. We'll have to swap, Paul. So yeah, it's AM over here, the airband. There is some stuff on sideband, but there's some data stuff as well. If you're into airband listening, then you'll know all about the data. What do you call it? Modes that they use. So you can get software that will decode the signals coming down from the aircraft. So the next radio then I want to talk about is the R707. I showed that a while ago. Let's get you back up a minute. Yeah, the R707 a while ago. If you can see me head there now. If I can't see myself in the reflection, then you probably can't see me, but there you go. I don't know. See me? Yeah, so the R707 was purchased for restoration, and someone over in Ireland. I don't know if he's watching today, Michael, over in Ireland. I did tell him that I'd do a quick update on where I am with it so far. And to be fair, I've sort of run the Shorrock and the R707 this week side by side. You know, when I get a little bit head scratchy with the Shorrock, I'll put that down and carry on with the R707. Heavy drinkers. Average Joe. Sam, how are you? Yeah, I'm not surprised they're heavy drinkers, mate. So that must be a mega stressful job. So I'm sure that at the end of the day, they love to have a bit of an unwind, like me doing live streams. Really, you've got to be a heavy drinker to do live streams. So yeah, the R707. I had an email from a customer over in Ireland, said he wanted one. So dug one out. I think it was a few weeks ago. I featured it on the live stream. I did say to him I should be able to get it done in a few weeks. Well, I'm into the 4th week now, and it's coming on all right, actually. Certainly broke the back of the job. But I'm going to do something stupid today, which is do something live. But, you know, you've got to do these things, haven't you? It's more interesting to see the cock-ups in it than when everything goes right. But you never know. So let me get you back down onto the bench, and I'll show you where I am with it in a minute. So I'll zoom you in a little bit. I'm going to go mental because I need to... it's hunting a little bit there. I didn't like that. Oh well. So here's the case. So what I've done, basically, I actually had to do 4 coats of Danish oil on this one because it was still a little bit patchy after 3, but that's come up like a sort of, I don't know if you can see the light shining off of that, but it's come up sort of like a mirror finish now. You can see the light shining across it there. So I've done that on both sides. It's really brought the colour out in the wood grain as well. It's real dull and horrible before. Cleaned all the Rexine up on it, so that's pretty much ready to go back together. The grill, there's a couple little dinks in it. I've got most of it out. You can't really see it now. So that's the case. The top panel. Now this was covered in them horrible, some people like them because they're retro, but I personally don't like them. Those little diamond-shaped stickers for the BBC stations. I think they brought them out when BBC changed all their frequencies back in, I think it was the 60s, was it? Or the 70s? Probably the 70s because of this radio. It's got to be on it. Hi Des, how are you, mate? Great to have you on board. Hi Michael Ross, Desmond's Donders. Great channel, Des. I have caught a couple of your videos recently of your like little rambles. How did I get the stickers off? Well, I used these fingernails and so I can get this down without smashing the whole place up. Get in there. And this stuff, this was recommended by, I think Jack actually recommended this as well. I think Jack, you recommended this, Goo Gone. It's an American product, I believe. Yeah, made in the US of A. That. I don't know if any of you have seen this stuff before, but it does work quite well. It's not the quickest acting sort of label remover I've ever had, but it does get rid of, it says on here, like gum and goo, glue and crayons and stickers and adhesives. I think I got this off of Amazon because it is made in the US of A. But it's surface safe, which is one of the main things, because if you remember back along when I did that RP17, there was a lot of paint lifted off when I pulled the top panel off, and this seems to release it without damaging the paintwork. So definitely worth a go. And I finished off with a bit of isopropyl, and to be fair, that came up really well. I will give it a polish. It doesn't need a lot, to be honest. It's a really good condition faceplate. These radios only got to 104 megahertz again. They don't go up a lot. Should go up to 108 ideally, but it doesn't. So yeah, that's all that's got to have now is a polish. You saw me do the headphone socket the other week when I stripped this one down. So that's done. The chassis itself, it's looking a bit poorly at the moment, but and just a quick tip for those of you that do these. This is one of the hardest parts, is to get the switch bank off. Hopefully you can see that. Let me get you down a little bit further. Let's go in a little bit closer. Probably too close now. That'll do. Okay. So one of the issues with these is the switch bank here. You basically got to desolder it from everything. But what I found is you can just desolder the two sides. You don't have to desolder all three. You've still got to do the pads where the wires come up from the module, which fits in underneath here. But yeah, basically you can just ease it upwards, and there's a lot less chance of you damaging any of the traces, because these are pretty rubbish boards to work on. You know, literally, if you got your iron too hot and you keep it there too long, your trace is going to just lift. The tracks aren't fixed very well to the fiberglass PCB at all. Really bad. Yeah, goo gone. What's the other one you said then, Jack? Goo be gone. Goo be gone. What's the difference between goo gone and goo be gone? Goo be gone. That's gotta love it, me. You didn't miss a lot, Benji. I'm just talking about the Roberts R707 that I'm restoring for customer. So there's not really a lot going on the top of the board here. I've changed the capacitor there. It's had a total recap, this. The module isn't in this board at the moment because I've got it here, and that's what we're going to do live in a minute. Gooby gone. Go on, Sean, you've got to get some gooby gone. Gooby gone, gooby gone. What's with the sticky? We're talking about this stuff here, Benji. Goo gone, which I used to get those little labels off of the dial plate. Goo gone. But Jack's saying gooby gone. So it's not acrylic friendly, it'll damage it. Right, okay. So there, avoid gooby gone and just get goo gone. No gooby gone. Right, so as I say, I've done the capacitor on this side of the board, and if we flip it over, you hopefully see that in shot. Yes, I am. So all the caps down here have been done. I've used mainly the axial blue Vichy caps in the amplifier section. Well, I've got one more to do there, that big 680. Forgot about that one. Always forget that one. I've used some radial caps where they've been needed, and this one I believe was a, what's the value of that now? I can't remember, it's a funny size, and the actual ones I had were way too big, so I've used radials there. So pretty much, apart from that one 680 microfarad cap, that is done, ready to go. You see the big hole in the middle here. This is where the module sits. And we'll have a look at the capacitors in a minute that came out of this radio, and just have a quick look at whether they were worth changing. Yeah, basically the module just sits in there. This is just the top cover. And that is the big issue with this particular set, is this module. It's a pig of a job to get it out. Basically this sits inside that can. And you've got all these legs. You've got a desolder from the back of the board, and the transistors have all got to be changed. Now you'll notice in this one that I've refurbished this board already, and this was what was on the cover of today's show. Let's get something to point with, and I can show you what I've done. So we've got new transistors in. So we've got 3 transistors. Before these were AF115s and 116s, I think. And now I've got the Russian GT322Bs in here. I have done a module before with those, and I find that they do work very, very well in an IF stage. You'll also notice I've changed all the capacitors. I've got all these Nichicon PW series, the 105 degree rated, very good quality caps. So there's 5 electrolytics in there. So I've done 5 electrolytics and 3 transistors. So that is good to go, hopefully. But what we want to do in a minute is we'll test it and see if it actually works in my Frankenstein's radio. So I thought what we'd do to start with is we'll have a look just to see if, let's get this out of the way a minute, just to see if we did have any shorts on these. And if you remember, this radio did actually work when we tested it, which was amazing because I thought it wouldn't because of the module. Now this is the transistors I've taken out. If you can all see that, let's get you in a bit closer. So we've got 2 AF116s, AF115, look. And they've got 4 legs on them. It's a collector shield base on these, and the gap, you'll see there's a bigger gap there, which is the gap between the collector and shield. So you always know which way around they go because you've got that gap. So the one on the far right is the collector, and then you've got the shield next to it. So what we want to see is if we've got any shorts between the shield wire, which is the second one, and any of the other pins. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect my multimeter up to the shield, and we'll see if we've got any resistance. There should be 0 resistance. Sorry, there should be maximum, like infinity resistance. There shouldn't be any resistance between any of those wires at all and the shield. So let me have a quick look at my camera angle, and we'll see if we can get you down and test it. I haven't checked these yet, so you're doing this live with me. Let's have a look. Can you see the meter there? No, you can't. Still no. Should be good there. Okay. Good to go. Right. Let's have a quick look at the chat while I'm getting my probes set up. Yeah, I must get some lighter fluid, Benji. Quite a few people have recommended lighter fluid now. And I've not tried it. I must get some. Afternoon, Simon. How are you? It's those AF116s that got you interested, Simon, wasn't it? Okay. Yeah, I have used the Russian ones in there, Mike. I don't know if you can see that or not through the gap. Where are we? So we use there, so it's 322B. So I've got 3 of those in there, look. So we're fully Russian transistored up. So good to go. Yeah, they're a pig to do some, aren't they? They're but the thing is they sound so amazing when you've done them that you just gotta save them. You know, we don't want to be throwing away R707s because the modules pack up. You know, it's not a cheap job to do a module. Because although the bits aren't that expensive, if you can find some cheap transistors, it's just labor intensive. Pretty much it took me a day to get that apart, get the module out, recap the main board, and recap and put new transistors in the modules. It took me pretty much 8 hours. So you know, you can imagine what it's going to cost labor wise. It ain't cheap. So let's try these transistors then. So first of all, let's just pop the multimeter on. I'll leave it on multi-ranging at the moment and see how we get on. So I'm going to just quickly go through these, and then I'll check the chat afterwards. So bear with me if you're leaving comments. Oh, hello. See if I can get the multimeter probe to hold on to it. No, let's change it for a different probe. I must get myself some better leads in this. Right, okay, so here we go. Let's go shield to collector first. I should say that should stay as OL. There should be no reading at all. Wow. We've definitely got a read in there. I mean, if I alter the range to say kilo ohms, we've actually got quite a short there. So you've got 453 ohms between the collector and shield. So we've definitely got shorts on that one. Let's go with the base. Again, we've got a read in there as well. 251 ohms, and that should be OL like that. It shouldn't be any reading at all. But we haven't got any connection between the emitter and the shield. Look. So that one's got shorts on 2 out of 3 of the pins. Let's try the next one. Which it makes you wonder why on earth it was still working, but obviously it was coming through, but not enough amplification. So this is the second one. Let's do the same. Got nothing there. Nothing there, nothing there. Let's just change the range back to auto. No, so that transistor is good. So that's probably the reason why that radio is still working, because of that one transistor, which was the AF116. Let's try the last one. I think this is the last. I might have got these mixed up now. Okay, yeah, we've got a read in there, so let's alter the range on the meter. 45 ohms between the shield and the collector. Nothing between the shield and base. If I say that, let's auto range it again. Yeah, so we have got 50k between the shield and the base. And we've also got 5k. It'll settle down. 5k between the shield and the emitter. So yeah, all 3 of those transistors were shot, but that one that was good was the one that was pushing the signal through the others. That's why it still worked. So yes, interesting. Okay, Des, catch you later on, mate. Let's just catch up with okay, so Sean's asking what the meter is. It's a Keysight. Sean, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you should be able to see it. It's a Keysight U1252B. It's a lovely meter, that. I did a lot of research and messing about before I came up with this one. And I think Peter TRX Bench uses one very similar, which is what made me go for it in the end. It measures frequency, capacitance, does milliamps. It basically does everything that I want and more. You can look at DC and AC at the same time, so you can check for ripple. It's a cracking meter, but unfortunately it comes at a price, and it was expensive. but I managed to get it quite cheap because it didn't have the charger with it. You can actually plug this in. It's got a rechargeable battery and it charges itself. But I bought the charger for it, but I've mislaid it now, so God only knows. Yes, Simon, I'm using let's get some down. I'm using GT322B, Simon, in the thing, which is these here. This is my little box that I bought with a couple in it. It looks like an army, doesn't it? So yeah, they're I don't know how you pronounce that in Russian, but it's something 322 something, but it's GT322B, Simon. So that's what I've used in it. I've used it in one of these before and it worked perfect. So I've used it in this one now. And that, we're going to test them in a minute, see if it works, because I haven't tried it yet. So let's find my pot for the bits there. I've lost the little tin can now. So I thought the other thing we'd have a look at is the capacitors. And these are the capacitors that have come out of the module. You've only got 5 electrolytics. You've got a 2.2 or 2.5 and 4 10 microfarad caps in there. But why on earth would you go into a module like that that takes ages and ages to get apart and sort and not do the capacitors? You imagine if you put it all back together and it didn't work and it was one of these caps that had packed up. So, you know, you have got to do the electrolytics as well. Certainly, I wouldn't want to leave it in there without doing them. And I put the higher rated ones in there because it is quite contained. So let's get the ESR meter out. And we'll stick these on just to have a look. Again, I haven't looked at any of this yet. I thought I'd leave it, share it with you guys. Let's see if you can see that or not. That's better. I will zoom you in a bit because it's a little bit further away. Hopefully you can see it's gone a bit pixelated now because we're at the limit of the camera. I think I'm into digital zoom rather than optical at the moment. I bought a box of 200 of those, Simon. There's a seller, I think it's in Bulgaria or somewhere like that on eBay that sells those. Oh, really? Did he, Mike? That's kind of him. That's a box of 200, Simon, but you can buy them in smaller boxes, but it does work out cheaper if you buy a box. And I'm on my last few at the moment. I haven't got many left, look. I've only got a few left at the moment. I'll be on the box sooner or later. They are a different pin out. I don't know if any of you can freeze frame the screen, but I don't know if you've seen, where are we? That's the pin out on them, looking from the base. And that's different than the AF127s as well. It takes a bit of searching to find that info, actually. I did find it in the end, so I thought I'd draw it out, and then obviously I've got my little reference picture of the AF117 series there. But yeah, it's say GT322B. So let's assume they work in the module. We'll find out in a minute. We'll find out the hard way. Stupidly live. Because one of the issues is the legs. You've got to cross the legs over, and I need to just make doubly sure before I try it that I haven't got any of the legs touching. Because they are very, very close together. So I'll do that in a minute anyway. Let's carry on and we'll have a quick look at the... they do have the shield, Simon, yeah? It might be that he sold them all, Simon. But if you buy them in bulk like that, they do come out a lot cheaper. So let's check these caps then. This one is a 10 microfarad. Okay, so it's risen in capacitance 13.69, but the issue is the ESR it's gone up to 4.3 ohms, so that one isn't any good at all, so would have had to be changed. Another 10, let's try that one. Okay, so that one's gone up to 13.7, which is not a million miles away, but again we've got high ESR, 3.9 ohms. That should be preferably less than 1, but if it's 1 or thereabouts, it's not going to make a major difference. So we've got another 10. Again, we've got high ESR on that one. Again, they're all measuring about 13.8 that. So, you know, they were good quality caps back in the day, these Philips. And I'm not surprised being going in that module. You don't want dodgy caps in one of those, really. I'm sure the dealers hated repairing these back in the day. Again, 13.9, 3.9 ohms. And this is the 2.5 microfarads, 2.5 microfarads. Let's have a quick look what this is. Oh, so that made a funny noise. Oh, it's basically got 5 ohms ESR at 2.9 microfarads, so it's within spec on the actual value, but high ESR. Let me just quickly then, as a comparison, we'll get down, where are we? Yeah, okay. Let's quickly get down. This is going to shoot me in the foot now, isn't it? This ain't going to work right. So that's a 10 and a 2.2. So this is the capacitors that I've put in. So bear in mind, these are all around 4 or 5 ESR. So what's this one here? This is a 10 microfarad. So that's reading 10.2, ESR is 0.42. So it's a big difference. It's bang on pretty much the capacitance and very low ESR. This meter doesn't like the smaller caps, but we'll try this one. It should give us a good ESR reading. So this is a 2.2. So it's reading 1.34. So you do tend to find that the lower the value, the higher the ESR gets. And that's pretty good, to be fair, for one of these. Bearing in mind the other one was 5. So it does show that that was definitely worth changing. Anyway. Let's quickly catch up with the chat a minute then. We'll zoom back out a bit because the next section is quite a bit more involved. So let's have a look how we're doing. Um, 25 last year, John, did you? Testosterone. Yeah, the peak is good, Mike. Again, the Chinese ones don't get bad write-ups, to be fair. So I've got 2 options now. We can have a look at the caps that came out of the Roberts main chassis. You can pop those on the ESR meter if you want, or we can hook this up to my Frankenstein's radio. We can do both, but I mean, it's up to you. Do you want to go through these caps and have a look at what they were, or shall we move on to that? I'll await your instructions. What's the verdict? I'm going to need to get another beer sorted. Move on. What? Skip the caps? Do you want to skip the caps, Average Joe? Hook it up, Sean's saying. Let's get my little book out with me pinouts on it. Dust them off. Oh, Theo wants to have a look at the caps. Yeah, gotta love a democracy, that. To be fair, it won't take long to have a look at the caps. I'll zoom you in a little bit then. We'll have a quick look at the caps. Now, this is the caps that came out of the main board in the R707. Again, there's always that temptation. If it's working, shall I leave them? But I tend to find these bigger ones are the ones that cause, well, not all of the issues, but they certainly do go quite high in value. I suppose high is better than low, but they've got to be leaky at that sort of age. So let's go with the highest first, shall we? We've got 470 in here. Let's try the 470. Hopefully you can see that. 519, so yeah, that one would have been all right. Not a major issue. ESR's nice and low, 0.21. You do tend to find that the higher value caps have got better ESR. So let's go with these 330s. We've got 3 of these. 452, so that's risen 120 microfarads. That's probably a bit much actually, but again, ESR is low. The other thing is a lot of these old caps were either not rated or they were rated as plus 50%, minus 10. So what's 50% on top of 330? 60, I don't know, I'm not good at maths, but you know what I'm saying. Tolerances were a lot less of an issue back in the day. So that's, again, that's gone from 330 up to 490. This has risen quite high. Hi Marky, how are you? And another 330. These are all in the amplifier section, don't forget. 452. So all the 330s are gone high. Actuals are just so expensive now. I know what you're saying, Simon. I do try and use them, and you know, customers want it looking authentic. So unfortunately, they've got to pay to keep it looking nice. Well, I don't know if you saw, Simon, that I put the I put actuals back in the amplifier section here. I got what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actuals in there. So that's probably, I don't know. These are about £2.50 each. £2.50 each, and if it was radials, they'd be like pence each rather than pounds. So it does make a difference. Right, what have we got here? We've got 150 microfarads, 168, so not too bad. Nice low ESR. These Philips caps aren't too bad, but occasionally you get the odd one that just fails and it can short the radio right out. 168, again 150, so that one's good. So far we've got no necessary changes really. So 2.2 now. 2.74, good. Nothing major so far. This is 33 by the looks of it. 36, good. 2.2, 2.6, no high ESR on any of these. It does seem to be the module, doesn't it, that's got the issues. 2.2, 2.6, good. What we got here? Another 2.2. Again, 2.79. We're good, doing good on these caps. Anyone want to buy some second-hand caps? What's that one? 13. 10 microfarads. So yeah, risen a little bit, but not excessive. And the last one, another 10 microfarad. bear in mind these were all up over 3 ohms ESR in the module. I suppose because it's encased, they dry out a bit quicker. What's this one? Another 10. 13.64. So really, I mean, as we heard when I tried the radio when we tested it originally, it did sound really, really good, which is, you know, obviously the caps were fine. Yeah, if you ever pull a capacitor apart, Sean, and string it all out, you see you've got like copper foil, and then you've got like a material that holds the electrolyte, and if it's nice and gooey, you're probably okay. Very often they'll just eat through the foil and they just short out. But if they're nice and sticky still, then you're okay. But a lot of them are just bone dry, so I don't think it lets the current flow properly. I'm not sure on the total physics and science of it all. I ain't got a clue. I think, didn't they used to use fish oil in them, didn't they? And some of them got oil in them. Catch all the bits as they fall off, but I do keep a stock of axial caps in. If you can see that, I'm probably zoomed in a bit close now, aren't I? But yeah, I do keep axial caps in. When you start getting up around this sort of size, this is when they start getting expensive. I mean, that's a 330 microfarad at 63 volts. And these big 1000 microfarads, I think it's 1000, yeah. You know, you're paying sort of three quid for a capacitor. It's crazy, really. But if you want it looking right, especially when you look at the hackers or anything really where you can just pop the back down and look inside the radio, if you want it looking authentic, then, you know, you can use them, but they are that little bit more expensive. It's like the R707. You flip the back down and the first thing you see is the capacitors. And I do like to keep them looking nice, but I'm a fussy git anyway. Right, what are we doing then? Yeah, it is, Mike, it's an expensive drawer of caps. I've got another drawer there of bigger ones as well. But I do tend to stick with certain makes for capacitors. I stick with Nichicons for, well, Nichicons are Panasonics really for radials, and the Vichys for the axials. You can get cheap axials, but I wouldn't bother with them because they're really dodgy. I say dodgy, you stick the meter on them and they're like worse than what you're taking out half the time. You like a shirt? Yeah. That was a birthday present, Simon, from the missus. Okay, let's get old Frankenstein up here then. There. Now, those of you that have watched my videos would have seen this radio in action. Well, just another R707, isn't it? Just another old R707. But this one's been butchered. Not butchered, been modified, shall we say. And basically what I've done with this, if you haven't seen the videos before, you won't know this, so I will go over it. In underneath here, let's get the light over this way a bit. In underneath is where the module normally sits. So all I've done is I've connected wires from what would have been the module out to these clip leads. So basically I can clip a module into this and see if it works. I've also put a power socket in this one because this is one of the older ones with the Roberts logo on the front that doesn't have the power socket. The newer ones have got a power socket in the side here, as you probably see on this one. So the newer ones have got this where are we? Power socket in the side. That's the case, incidentally, if anyone didn't see that earlier. That's a case of the one that I'm refurbishing, all nice and shiny now. So foolishly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect up this module into this radio. I know this radio works. It's been recapped. I've used it for quite a few repairs and restorations. I do a lot of these R707s. I've probably, I don't know, I've probably done 6, maybe more of these this year so far. They're popular radio. They sound amazing. It's a 12-volt radio. Let's get my power supply set up. So I can plug it into the power. So this is the plan. We're going to connect this module into this radio and see if it works. So I've got to get my book out in a minute, so talk amongst yourselves while I work out where all the wiring goes. I must do myself a longer cable here as well. This is a bit of a stretch, this one. So definitely need some more beer. Cat? No. I'm sure she went and got me some beer. Okay. Right. So I've got a little diagram here. When I did this, put this set together back in February. Look. So I'm going to pop the power off a minute because one of these is power lead. Let's just orientate it. So it goes that way round, I believe. So we've got 6 pins there, so that's 6, and we've got 5 on the other side. That's right, okay. So what I've got to do now really is connect these up as we're looking at it. So we've got the red at the top. Of course, the other thing that this will let me do is it will let me tweak the IF cans if necessary. Probably not going to bother with that on FM, but certainly it's worth giving them a little tweak on AM. FM's all about audio quality and that you can mess up the radio if you mess with the IFs. That's in my opinion anyway. So all I'm doing is just following the color code from my book. So again, if anyone does want to refurb their own module, they can always send it out to me and I can stick it on this test set just for a small contribution. Certainly a lot better than putting everything back in the radio to find out it's not working because you've done something wrong in the module. Actually, what I will double check while I'm here is that I've got no legs touching, because you've got to really twist these transistors to get them to fit in. There was one here that was looking a bit close, as that one there. It's just a case of getting a screwdriver in there and just making sure you've got a bit clearance between the legs, and that one there's okay by the looks of it. The only one I can't get at is this one here, really, but I think that one went in okay. So we're going to have to wing it on that one, but hopefully we're okay. So violet. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. No, we're the wrong way around. Look, there we go. That's a good start, isn't it? You've got to count. You must count the amount of probes, Graham. That's 5, not 6. So it goes that way around. So we've got red, yellow, and green. Bear with me, because you know this has got to be fairly boring. But hopefully the result will be worth the wait. Red, yellow, green. Scrap that. Let's try again. So we're that way round. You can tell it's a well. I haven't hooked this up for a couple months. Yellow, green. Now we're there. We're getting there now. Violet and black. And on this side, I think the problem is I'm actually looking at the wrong diagram. I'm looking at this diagram, which is not the right one. Idiot. Okay. So red, yellow, green, purple, black on that side. On this side, red, yellow, green. I've got one of these set up in an R600 as well for the R600 module, which is different than the R707 module. Not by a lot, but it is different. I shouldn't give you running commentary on this because I keep cocking it up. It's obviously a technical term, cocking it up. Then we've got black. Black. Purple. This is where I fry an R707 module live module frying. Well, let me just double check that I've got that right. So yellow, red, black, red, yellow, green. Right. Go VHF. Stick the aerial up. Power it on.
The band straight. Storm clouds gathering when he wrote this, the turbulent first movement of his celebrated clarinet concerto.
Yes.
I'd catch you if you fall, and if they laughing, baby, you'll be famous. Chase you down until you're lonely.
Reverend Roger.
In the days of living fine, out godmother and me, as noble as.
You think, oh, it'd be great if they stayed this sort of yellow, but eventually they fade. I think what I'd be inclined to do would actually be to cut them, perhaps make a trellis, bearing that in mind.
For the first time in forever.
Long way.
As a, as a bit of a bonus.
That's what to do. To shave. beautiful, but very long.
That's about the only station we get on long wave radio force that's working. Medium wave. I think that's my iPad with a light.
The old horseshoe sword, out went mother and me.
Only the remembrance service moved in towns and villages right across the United Kingdom, right across Europe.
As no one else could be.
Shortwave. I've got something interfering here today. I don't know what it is, but it could be my iPad. No, I don't know what it is. Might be that light. Yeah. It's a power supply for that light, believe it or not. Let's see if we can get anything on shortwave. Let's hook my longer wire up. No, there's nothing on shortwave at the moment. Something trying to get through there, but... So there we are. Let's just switch that light back on. So we now know that that module is a goer. That is working. So if I put this back in the set and the set doesn't work, then it's not going to be the module, is it? It's going to be something else. So that's the whole idea of this, was rather than go to all that trouble of doing the module, putting it back together and finding you've got a leg in the wrong place, or I don't know, something else gone wrong on the module. I now know that that module works. So there we are. I thought I'd share that with you live. Foolishly. Right, let's zoom back out again now. You can see my ugly mug again for a minute. We'll have a look at the chat. So I need to open another beer. Car? Just trying to see if the missus has been down the town yet. Bear with me. Car? Did you get a beer? Can I have one? I've been good. Dogs out. Let the dogs out. Okay, sorry, I had to go and rescue some beers because it's getting a bit dry up here. Whew. Right, so let's have a look. You can zap them, but yeah, don't. I wouldn't recommend zapping. Let's have an old speckled hen. Mrs. has kindly gone and got me some beers. Not that I didn't have enough, but you never know. Last week, a 6-hour stint, I needed a fair bit of beer for that. Okay, so what are we doing then? Yes, it will let me adjust the transformers, Bill, because basically the transformers on this are all here. So I can't remember whether it's either, I'm not sure whether it's the red ones or the yellow ones for AM. Where are we? Yeah, so once it's all connected up to the radio, I can adjust these if necessary. But unless someone's actually got at these don't look like they've been touched, so you don't normally need to touch them. I wouldn't recommend touching them, but if you've got fairly weak reception on AM or FM, you can obviously tweak these. But I think you've got a discriminator in there as well. There's a couple FM ones you don't want to touch. IFs are okay to just give a little tweak, but be careful. Right. So yeah, that does prove, doesn't it, that that the the GT322Bs do work in it. And this is the t-shirt that Simon was looking at. It's my bucket list, look. And I've ticked it off: beers and ice. So yeah, it's definitely a keeper, Bill. Definitely. So yeah, speckled hen here. What was the one I had last week? It was really nice. It's slightly stronger one than that. It's not Old Golden Hen. It's Old Crafty Hen. That's it. That's the one I had last week. Yeah, you're right, Simon. You do need to use a sweep generator for FM, so I wouldn't really touch them. I still haven't mastered that, Simon. So I'm definitely gonna have to try and tie up with you at some stage to show me how to get that S curve. The S curve I cannot get. The scope will do it, but I can't for some reason. Right. So anyway, that's the R707 test jig, and I thought you'd like to see that. It's all you need is a beaten up old radio that can't really be restored. I mean, I could restore that one. I know I could. You know, it's got quite a few good things going for it. But I basically took out the battery holders and obviously taken the module out of it. I've recapped it, made sure everything's working. It's all tuned nicely. So I know that if I put a module in there and it doesn't work, then we know we've got an issue with the module. So that module can safely go back in the radio now. And that's pretty much, that radio's 90% done now. All I've got to do is polish the faceplate on it. I've got to clean the strap up. I've got to get there's a bit of pitting on the Roberts badge. It goes on the front, so I'm going to give that a once over, see if I can get that out with a bit of, well, I've got this new stuff now that Sean's recommended, this wadding. I did use some Brasso, I think it was, but Sean has recommended this stuff. Never dull. And it does seem to work well. It's just the same as, again, it ain't cheap. It's not as cheap as Brasso, but it does seem to work. So that's a recommendation for you, courtesy of Sean. That. That's all my bits from it. So yeah, that radio is now good to go. That's only going to take me now probably, it's got about another three, maybe 4 hours working it. I'll need to check the amplifier section on it and make sure everything else is all right. Yeah. Oh dear. Cripple cock. You can still get cripple cock, I think. You can still, you can, it's cider, isn't it? Yeah, those R707s, I mean, they really do sound amazing. as I say, I did restore one for myself, but Sean has now got that, and I'm going to restore the stripy grilled one for myself. As I say, I've never seen one of those before. It's asking me to review your message, Andrew. We'll allow that one, I think, don't you? Yeah, you're pretty good at aligning that sort of stuff, Simon, but discriminator is dodgy. If you touch that, you can totally cock a setup, can't you? But yeah, really, Simon, the issue I've got is it's actually getting the signal generator, the scope, all connected up into the radio with the right settings, so as I can actually view. I know you've got to have it in XY mode, haven't you? So as I can view the sweep on it. I've got the sweep generator down there, but I've never managed to tackle it yet. Not got my head around it, shall we say. It's not modulated, so that totally throws me. So that's the R707 latest anyway. Hopefully you felt my pain there. But it's good to get it working live. Just pop that back down out of the way safely. That's this module. That can all be soldered back together now. Another thing you need to be aware of these modules is you've got to be really careful desoldering the module from this can. And a little tip, if you ever have a go at one of these, let's just see if I can get you in the shot. The problem is these tabs, if you put too much heat on here, both ends, they lift, and you'll see it connects to these little pins on the outer can. So what I do is I look at the one with the most trace on, which is this one here, and I actually desolder that pin and that like fastener. Rambling on again here. I basically push that one right up, and the one on the bottom side here, which is always the one that seems to lift, this one, I don't actually try and bend that at all. All I do is put the soldering iron on that and just slide it out. Because if you put too much heat on there and try and lift that pin, it 99% of the time is going to lift that trace, and you'll have nothing to solder it back to afterwards, because that's connected to nothing. That is purely there to actually fix the can. So there's nothing the other side at all. It's purely there to fix this can on. So if you lose that, you've got nothing to fix it to, and you'll have to glue it or something. But this side obviously is connected into the track, so it's got a little bit more robust this end. Just a little tip, if anyone's brave enough to try and do one. I take it you've got to do one in yours, Simon, have you? I think that's what you were saying, the module's got to be done. Anyway, that can go to one side now. I can get the module back together. Probably tomorrow, well not tomorrow, because I've got to go out do photography work tomorrow. Yeah. So, where are we? Somebody talking about chickens, yeah. Simon's saying you're looking at a DC response of the two diodes when the frequency is other than 10.7 megahertz. Yeah, that's a good tip there, Sean, really. If you've got a problem with a module, send it to me. Don't, if in doubt, do not touch it, because it will like blow your mind and you wish you never ever started it. Andrew's given up on modules. Yeah, it would be Benji, but the problem is these legs. There's nothing scientific about how these legs are fitted. I I mean, they're all over the shop. Look at that. I mean, you'd be messing about trying to straighten the legs to get them in the pins all the time. They're all over the shop, look. Some of them, these have been cut off, bent. They're all sorts of weird and wonderful angles. So you wouldn't really be able to plug that into something unless you messed about and straightened all the legs up. It's hard enough getting them back in the living radio afterwards. Yeah, Simon's just confirmed what I've said. They are a pig to get back in the radio afterwards. You literally got to line it up with the holes and hope for the best. Does it really, Andrew? Sencor SG165. I haven't got a Sencor SG165. Oh, I see what you're saying. Get the manual. All right, Andrew, that's a good idea. Sencor SG165. I'll just type that in a minute so as I remember. Sencor SG165 manual. Boat anchor manual. Electro Tanya's got it. That. I don't know if anyone's belongs to Electro Tanya, but I definitely recommend joining them if you haven't already. You've got to do like a quick online quiz before they'll let you in, so as they know if you've got any electrical knowledge. I mean, I managed it, so it should be okay. SG, was it 165, wasn't it? So let's search for that. Okay, so Electro Tanya, I've got it. Let's just pop that in the chat. I think I have seen you do a video on that, Andrew. I mean, that's going into my what do you call it, membership, so you might not be able to see it, but I will download that. Let's hit the download PDF button. It is, FM alignment is like a bit of black magic in it, because I've read loads of books, and there's nowhere really in any of the books that actually physically shows you where to clip to, what to set your scope to. There's nothing. It just like says view the S curve. It doesn't tell you what to connect up to, what to set your scope to, what to put your signal generator on, anything like that. So that's very good. So I've just downloaded that, Andrew, so thanks for that. I'm not going to go through it right now, but there's lots of waveforms and that in there, so great stuff. Cheers, thank you for that, Andrew. Anyone else that's got any, you can help me. Let's open that in my, hopefully open it if the internet connects to it. I'm going to open that in iBooks because I'm on my iPad at the moment. It's quite a lumpy manual. Someone's done a good job of scanning that by the looks of it. I'll print that out later. So cheers, thank you for that, Andrew. Okay. What's next? Benji, you're getting impatient, aren't you? Right, okay. Yeah, I think it is tricky, Jack, isn't it? You know, it's easy enough to align AM because you can use that, do that with a multimeter, really. You're just looking for maximum amplitude, but with FM it's a totally different. You're looking for the shape of the wave and all sorts of stuff. So Sean's asking what areas I use in my workshop, shortwave, AM, etc. Well, I've got a long wire antenna that's strung out over the back, out into a tree. What it was, it's attached to the fence at the moment since we have the back garden done. And just up the back here, I've got some I've got a scanner area, which is wideband for FM range, and I've got a couple other shortwave aerials up there, but mainly I use the one that's slung out over the back. So Benji's asking what's next. So I've got two choices. I can have a look at the customer's radio that's coming, or I can just go and grab a random radio off of the side. I think what we'll do is I'll have a look at the customer's radio that's coming first, because I think he's in here still. I think Andy's still in here. Andy Beck, yeah. Andy, are you still in here, mate? Is Andy still in the house? Right. So, let's get you down on the bench again. Let's get you back into... Let's get you off of my ugly mug, down onto the bench. It's probably a little bit big. So if I'm doing all your eyes in, right, that's about right, I think. So do you know what this one is? This is Andy's radio, sent me in for, I don't know whether we're repairing this or restoring it, Andy. Or we're going to go somewhere in between, perhaps. To be honest, it doesn't need a lot of restoration. I don't think I've seen one in as good condition as this. Apart from obviously we've lost a strap, but that's something we'll get to in a minute. Want a full restoration on this one, Andy? All right. As I say, we haven't got a long way to go. It needs a little bit of polishing up on the grill. That needs to come out and be polished. But the paint, even the paint, is still glossy on that inside the grill, which it's really lovely condition. I think Andy has cleaned this up a bit. But there's very little scratching to the faceplate. Yeah, sorry, I didn't introduce the radio, did I? This is a Hacker RP10 Herald. It was Hacker's first transistor radio. There's various different versions of this radio. And if you have a look back through my videos, I've done a video on the 3 different versions that I've got here. So that they use different transistors, they've got different amplifier board layouts, and they've got, Bill has got one of these, I know. Bill's got the one with the chicken head knobs on it. So that uses 2 different shaped knobs. This is the same sort of knobs as are fitted to the Roberts R707 300s. The front needs padding, yeah. Yeah. You're gonna make me do the padding, are you, Andrew? Yeah, I think the front and the back needs padding. The problem is I mean, this radio, to be fair, is worth it. There's not many of these that I see in this condition, and you think probably it looks a bit tatty, but you know, the trim, there's no dents in the trim. The grill is not dented. Hacker badge is there. The top panel is lovely condition. All the knobs are really good condition. We've got one bright missing off of it there, but we can get another one of those. That's not a problem. The handle's missing, but Andy's sorted that for me. The back, again, the trim is spot on. You can see that all the foam is gone in it. Yeah, I've got plenty of padding, Average Joe. So you want me to try and refoam this as well, Andy, do you? Dear, oh dear. Yeah. I mean, luckily you don't need to touch the actual body of the radio. There's no foaming in this. It's just the front and the back. And again, I've never done any repairs on these radios. I've got 3 of my own. But like all of my stuff, really, I don't ever get around to doing it because I'm sorting out other people's radios, which is fine. I don't mind because I can practice on other people's radios then, can I? But I will get around to doing mine one day. So yeah, the rec scene is perfect on this. There's no issues with it. We've got a couple of the nail heads showing through a little bit. These are nailed together, I think. We've got a couple of the nail heads just starting to poke through. Not a lot we can do about that because the rust unfortunately comes through the Rexine eventually. So yeah, it's long wave, medium wave only. I don't know if Bill is still with us. Bill, are you there? He's probably gone off for his breakfast. Yes. You're supposed to fix your own radios. It's a different Andrew. I think you're getting confused, Simon. This is Andrew Beck's radio. It's Andrew Beck's radio. It's not Andrew Alsver's radio. Anyway, let's have a look inside. Now this has got two little brass push buttons on the bottom that you push in that release the back panel, which lifts out. So now you can see this is the little badge inside. It says it is a Hacker Herald transistor portable receiver RP10. So it uses two ever-ready PP9, 9 volts or equivalent. We've got some sort of maker's mark on here. Someone's obviously signed it off. But you can see there's lots of dust inside here where the foam used to be. You can't really see that very well in this light. That's a bit better. But yeah, you can see in here all the dust where the foam has perished. Strangely, it didn't put anything inside there, so literally when you refoam these, I suppose that's all you've got. But that's going to be difficult to get these staples out without damaging this surround. And they've been a little bit skimpy with the material as well. So yeah, I can see what Andrew's saying. That's going to be fun. I'm assuming, Andrew, you've actually had a go at doing one of these. So anyway, now this was what interested me, as well as lots of other things. If you're in dispense, Bill, we'll say Bill has got one of these, and I must sort him out a new chicken head knob for it. Andrew's managed to get a replacement handle for this. Now I've got a red handle that I bought off of eBay from the same seller, and I mean the quality difference is like chalk and cheese. This is mine, horrible foamy stuff. It's that bad. I've not even bothered fitting it to a radio. It's nasty. See, it's horrible. You scrunch it up and not good. But this has got proper, like the old, I don't know what they used. It's some sort of, it's like an imitation hide. It's like a really hard card. The stitching is really nice, so that's gonna really make this radio. So well done on finding that, Andrew. If anyone else has got an industrial sewing machine and they can make these straps, then let me know, as I'm sure lots of other people. I would say that trim is plastic, Average Joe. So that is some plastic that's been somehow coated with this shiny material. Do I use Armorflex insulation for refoaming? Well, I don't normally do refoaming, to be honest, Mike, but I'll show you. I have done one. I did a Hacker Mini Herald. Let me just get what I got. I know Simon used some of the stick-on armor flex, but this stuff here, I don't know if you can see this or not. This is like sticky back foam. It's the right it's like neoprene though, so it's a bit firmer than the old foam. Now it's sticky backed. It's got a bit of squish to it, but it's not as supple as foam. So I've used that before, which works. But in the other room, I'm not going to get it because it's a huge, great roll. I've got some actual stuff from a car body, sorry, a car upholsterers. I can't remember what they call it now. Is it scrim foam or something like that? Which is very similar. Robert Thompson gave you yours, did he, Bill? You still need the knob though, Bill, don't you? Or have you got that now? Gotta love the chickens. So anyway, let's have a look at the inside of the radio. We're deviating a bit, but foaming and straps are all relevant because you can't get them anymore. This is a nice laid out radio. Cooker head filter, yeah, you could do. Let me just get you down, and we're getting a little bit closer on this. There we go. Hopefully that's all in shot. I can't see the bottom of the camera though. There we go. Yeah, I will sort you one of those out, Bill. I've got I've sent off my spare one to a friend of mine who's a graphic designer, I think he is, and he basically he can draw it for me a lot better than I can. So they're a bit more complex because they've got a little brass insert in them as well. So they're not just a plastic knob, unfortunately. So we need a bit of engineering skill to get the that little brass insert put in there. We need someone that can turn a bit of brass and also put it into the knob. So anyway, getting back to this. Hopefully you can see everything here. These red capacitors look lovely, but they leak like a sieve. In fact, you can see gunk coming out the end of this one here. Any muck come out of any others? Yeah, I think Andrew maybe have cleaned this off, but most of the dust and that you can see in here is basically the foam that's all gone to powder, and it's got onto everything. Mike's quite right. We've got 1, 2, 3 AF7s in that section. Anywhere else? No, I don't think so. There are transistors on the back of this board as well, I believe. So serial number on this one's 31455. So this is one of the later ones. It's not the latest. I think the latest one is the one that Bill's got with chicken head knobs on it. So all three of these have either got to be done, and Andy will have to let me know. Do I restuff these capacitors to give it his original look, and do I zap these to keep them original, or are we going to change them? The problem you've got with changing these is you've got these ferrules that are on the board. I don't know if you can see that on this one, putting my hands in the way, but you've got these like little upright ferrules, and you push the legs into them and then solder them from in behind, and the solder runs up through the ferrule. It gives you a good mechanical connection, but they're a pig to get out. So the other option is to decan the AF117s and just silicone the top over the top of a new transistor, like a Russian or an AF127. So you need to let me know that Andrew. Do you want to keep the original look of it, or are you just looking to get it working and obviously sounding great, which it will do. So there. Big old Goodman speaker again, classic Hacker massive speaker. This one's got some, there's different versions of this. Some have got the audio board down here. Some use, I think it's Ediswin transistors instead of Mullard. So there's a few different versions. We've got these horrible sliding variable resistors to set up the quiescent current. I'm not sure why we've got two. Normally we've only got one, but it might be the quiescent current and midpoint voltage on there. Right, where are we? I think I'm waffling on here. TCC, yeah, they've definitely got to go. The little grey drum in the top right corner of the board, this one here, that's a rectifier, Bill, if you're asking that one. I think it's a selenium rectifier, which they use in the output stage. They used it in the RP scenes as well. But yeah, it's basically, it's just diodes, I suppose, really, but yeah. Oh, we can have a chat about that, Andy. Depends how you want it. I mean, the back does come off and everything is visible. So if you're looking to keep it, I mean, it's in really good condition inside. I mean, it looks mint. And one other thing that I wanted to show you, which I was quite excited about because I'm a bit of a geek, you know. Totally crap capacities. Yeah, NKT's new markets. This is just basically a divider to hold the batteries in, keeps them together. But what I wanted to show you was this. You think, oh, someone's been inside and messed about and just stuck a little connector in there, but it's not. This is an original Hacker factory thing. I mean, it's basically, where's this socket on this? We've got an aerial socket. I think that's the aerial socket, isn't it? Is it the aerial socket? No, it's the headphone socket. So in the side here, we've got a headphone socket, and the Hacker actually stuck a headphone socket. Now, hopefully you can see that. I'm in shot, am I? Yeah. So Hacker stuck a headphone jack plug onto the framework of the radio, and you'll see this in quite a few Hacker sets. Some of the RP18s, they had one of these taped with this masking tape to the aerial. I've got a couple out there that have got this original plug taped on it. Let me see if we can get it out without damaging the, wow. Again, I don't think Andrew's having this as a museum piece. He wants to use it, which is nice. So let's prise him out and we'll have a look at the plug. That's going to be easier to just unstick it. That's amazing. Now, this radios, I think they're from the 1950s, aren't they? Well, there's our plug. Now, is that an FM aerial plug or is that... No, it's the headphone plug. Yeah, so that is the headphone plug. So that's a nice little thing to have, because I mean you could make one up, but it's an unusual looking plug. You got to wire it up yourself. I assume this just unscrews from the back somehow. But Hacker did that for some reason. I've not seen another manufacturer that does that, actually fix the plug that they need for the set. So yeah, just something fairly unique to the radio. It's something to look out for. If you see that, you will see it quite often on the Hacker radio. So you think, well, someone's just stuck that there, but they haven't. It's actually factory, that is. We'll work out how to get the thing back together now. Right, so it goes in that way round. So yeah, nice, neat little touch. It shows it's a nice original radio. And yeah, it's one of those things. I think if it was my radio and I was keeping it as like a collector's piece, then I would restuff all these. It takes a long time, fairly labor intensive. And much easier to just take them out and replace them. But if you're not too worried about the looks of it and you just want it to work perfectly, then we just take them out and swap them for modern radios, I think, because they're upright. There's no point putting axials in there. Yeah, so just let me know and we'll have a chat about it, Andy, which way to go with it. Say it's no point spending an absolute fortune on it unless you want it as like a museum piece, really. But yeah, I think that's very restorable. It's in really good condition inside. I'm looking forward to that. So shall we try and power it up is the next thing. We've got a little bit of rust just in there on the little upright that's holding the battery block in. So I think that we'll probably take that out and respray that with some like hammerite silver or something like that, some zinc paint. But yeah, I've never took one of these apart before, so I've got some. As I say, I've got 3 or 4 of these. Never took one apart. So I'm going to need to hook up. I don't know whether this is in series or not, so I'm going to connect it to 2 9-volt supplies just to be safe. I haven't got the manual to hand. Let's zoom you back out again. Let's zoom you back out because I'm in a bit close. There we go. Beer's getting low again. Give it some DC power limiter juice. I've got my lovely clip-on cables. I must sort my cables out. It's my New Year resolution. Sort your cables out, Graham. These have lasted me for many years, so let's have a look at our power. So we're on 12 volts there, so we need to go 9. And this side 9. It's highly unlikely that this will work because of the AF117s in it. Have you actually powered this up, Andy? If you can let us know quickly if you have powered it up, because we're going to give it some power now. See if it likes it up it. Yeah. Yeah, they are rare, those plugs. Yeah, I think so, Jeff. Oh, you did power it up, okay. Did it work, Andrew? This is the thing. So let's have a look. Let's turn it off to start with. Really, when you get an old set like this, you shouldn't really just whack batteries in it and hope for the best. It's better to put it on a limited power supply. If anything's shorted, you can see it pretty much straight away. because if these output transistors go, it can get a little bit pricey. The output transistors are on the back of the board by the looks of it. Again, I've not took one of these apart yet, so let's get some power on it. Tap, tap, tapping is the way to go, isn't it? Tappy, tap, tap on the transistors. If all else fails, give it a whack. If in doubt, give it a clout. Ooh. Done like that straight away. So we've definitely got some serious shortage there. Okay. So it's a no-go. We've got something shorted there. And I'm not even turned the power on yet. Don't know why that is. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to test it because something is shorted in it. We have a short. Well, we know that the AF11 whatever it is transistors are shorted. Almost certainly. But it's unusual to have a short that early on in the radio without turning the power on even. So there must be something up in behind here shorted. I wonder how easy it is to get it out of the chassis. Looks like there's a screw there. One there. Should we have a go at getting it out of the chassis and have a look? See if we can see anything physically shorted, or should we move on to another radio? I'm not going to do any tapping on this one because it's a short, way too early for tapping. Let's try and get it out of the chassis quickly and have a look. Looks like we've got a screw there. Don't do live repair, so how many times do I said it? I still keep doing it. What's the matter with me? Oh, that's one of those like speaker. Get something to put the screws in. Something's shorted really before the power switch, which is unusual. So hopefully you haven't done any damage by connecting the batteries up to it, but we may well have done. We may have some issues with blown transistors in this one then. That's why really an old radio like this should be connected up via a power supply. The exact reason that I've just connected it up and got a short. I have got a manual for this somewhere, but for speed I'm just having a go. Got another one down there by the looks of it. It's very stiff. That's because it's where it's all gone rusty. Yeah, something's definitely rusted off in behind there. Aha! We have it. She's coming out. Hang on, we're still attached up here to a couple connectors for the socket. She's coming out. There we are. And there's our two output transistors on the backlit. Let's have a look at this wiring then. Oh, hello. Well, that's unusual. What is going on there then? Okay. So I'm just trying to work out what on earth is going on with this wiring. So let me see. So the black one is going down to there. So it looks like we're switching live and neutral on this. Positive and negative even. That live's connected to that neutral. So I think that was possibly just me connecting it up. Well, no, it can't be. I'm thinking aloud here, people. So to me, positive and negative are both there. Switched across to positive and negative across here. I don't know. Let's try it again then with just one cable. Let's go with the clip lead here. We'll leave it on 9 volts for a minute. Just connect it across the terminals. See what happens. So there's our positive. There's our negative. That's better. 9 volt. That's better. So I'm not sure what's going on with the wire now. I'll have to have a look at that. But will that now work? Okay, it's gone off on current limit, but not by a lot. Okay. Can't hear anything in the speaker. Let's pop the voltage up a bit. 15 volts, drawing through 30 milliamps. Ah, hang on, we have it's trying. I don't know if you can hear that. Popping into action. I've only got it on 15 volts. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do as a treat. So it's positive, top, negative on the bottom. Just put the speaker to one side. Can I get at these? What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pull the shield wire off of these. I can work out which it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to heat the soldering iron up. I'm going to pull the, just turn that up a little bit because I turned it down for the Roberts. I'm going to heat up the ferrule. I'm going to pull the shield wire out of all three of those AF117s. Because tapping them, it's definitely making some noises. So it is those that are stopping the radio working. So again, once again, I'm messing about doing live repairs, aren't I? Which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. How long have we got? About 2 hours, look. Let's check the chat out a minute. So, what are we doing? Keep going. I can't help myself. You're right, Mark. It's like an illness. Mike, even. Afternoon, Gary Cooper. How are you? You love the smell of soldering in the morning. Right. So what I'm going to do on this, and let me just see that you can actually see what the hell I'm doing here. I might have gone, oh Christ, I'm miles away. That. Okay. So what I'm going to attempt to do is heat up the back of the terminal and pull the shield wire out. So let's go with the hardest one first. Always do the hardest one first, and everything's easier on. But yeah, this one's going to be pretty impossible. But see if I can grab it with its forceps. Amazing tool. You need, if you haven't got these on your bench, I don't know what the hell you've been using instead of it, but basically I'm going to grab the shield wire with the forceps. Making sure I've just got the shield wire, not all the other wires. I'm going to heat up terminal and pull the shield wire out. That's one. I'll just get that up on camera so you can see what I've done. So what I've done basically, I heated up the back of the terminal. You can see on the front there. Where are we? Where's my finger? Where's my finger? Where's my finger? There. Ah. There, you see that leg? Let me just get a screwdriver. Hopefully you can see that. So what I've done is pulled the shield wire clean outlet. So do that with the other two a minute. And we'll try it again. So shield is, that's a bit easier to get at. So again, all I'm doing is just going to grab it with the forceps right down by the ferrule. Put a bit of heat on it. Wrong one. Does help if you do the right one. Bear with me, I'm going to have to do this in 2 goes because it's quite a short wire. And again. Don't know, I'm not having my magnifier in here. But yeah, that one's out. I think it's out. Are you out? No, not quite. Not quite out. There it is. The reason I'm pulling these instead of just cutting them off is if I decide to zap them, I can reuse that leg. If you cut them off, you can't reuse it, can you? So I can reuse those transistors, either in this radio, or you could do, or in another one. So let's get the last one, which is that second one there. Again, I have to do it in 2 hits because there's not much leverage on it. And again. There we are. Right. So that is all 3 legs now lifted. So let's reconnect it up to the speaker. It's not going to play ball, is it? Right. Hands up, who thinks it's going to work now? Afternoon, ladies. So who thinks it's going to work? Yeah, Kenny, you're right. Hi, Kenny, how are you? Yeah, our Remembrance Day was at 11 o'clock, Kenny. That's when it all kicks off, on the 11th to the 11th. 11. So let's connect some power back onto it again. So let's go. I do hate these clips. Get the positive and negative the right way around would help, wouldn't it? So do we think it's going to work? Flames and smoke? I think Armistice Day and Remembrance Sunday have clashed this year, Kenny. Very often they're different dates, but today is the 11th and it's the same as Remembrance Sunday. So let's sort the beer out. We're going with Hobgoblin now because someone's quite right there. Kenny, we definitely have got beer, but I'm getting through it. So do you think we've cracked it? Or are we going to have a working RP10 now? So this is still still got the old pumpkins on this, look. So this is still the Halloween version of it. Hobgoblin. So cheers everybody if you've got a drink. If not, then cheers for later. Right. Right, I've got the fire extinguisher at the ready. Let's fire in the hole. 15 volts. I think we can safely go up to 18 volts now. and absolutely nothing. Well, that's a great improvement, isn't it? From noise, tapping it, to absolutely nothing. Great stuff. I suspect we have multiple shorts on these little monsters. Where's my tapping stick gone? Doesn't help these clips keep coming off all the time. Yeah, that's the beauty of a live footage for you, isn't it? Let's just prop that up with that. Stay there. Trying to get a decent connection. Okay. Right, let's give him a tap again. No. I would have thought that would work then, but it obviously hasn't. That's a shame. Just double check that I haven't pulled the wrong connection out of one of those transistors. You never know. So I've not worked on one of these before, so I hate these clip leads. Come on. Father Christmas, I need some new clip leads. We don't seem to be getting anything now, which is unusual. No response whatsoever. But live repairs are not the way to go, really. But worth a go. We've still got a short on one of these little monsters, I think. Oh, we've got a cross. Just making sure I haven't got any shorted legs on these little monsters. Which I may well have. These will be coming out anyway. I won't be leaving these in, I don't think. That one, is he alright? Yeah. So shield, shield, shield. You've also got to make sure that that shield leg isn't touching any other part of the chassis. So let's try that. Let's try that. Final go. Final go. Right. No, I don't think it's going to have any of it. It's a shame. It would have been nice to get it going, but no, tappy tapping's not working, so we're going to have to call it a day at that, I think. Could be that volume pot's not helping. Let's give that a squirt a minute. Let's give it some good old Servasol. It's random, isn't it? Sound like it was going to come. Ah, don't breathe. Ah. It's working.
Then the invasion of England will still become possible. Then all the terrible events experienced in Belgium will be repeated here. So long as there is a path to come from heaven.
Let's try long wave then. A lot of interference from it. Let's pop it back on medium wave a minute. Just put the voltage up to 18. No, it doesn't like 18 volts. I'd say it looks like it's a dodgy connection on this switch as well. Connect it to the output, it should be fine, shouldn't it? In theory. Well, it did work for a minute, didn't it? That volume on off switch is definitely going to need stripping out, I think. Well, that'll do for now. I suspect the capacitors are all shot in it anyway, so it's good to even get it working that much. Let's just get that safely out of the way. And I will go and get something else. Let's have a quick look at the chat. See how we're doing. Let's get the camera back out a bit. So at least we do know that that sort of works now. It's going to need a bit of work, that one. So this is working, Kenny. Yeah. Cheers, Theo. See you soon. Cheers, mate. Hi, Tim. How are you? You keep decorating. I think it could be, Simon. It's definitely something like that. But at least we know it does work of a sort. It could be that one of the AF117s has shorted back out again. But they've got to come out and be swapped with something else, I think. Cheers, Andy. I'm not going quite yet. I was going to suggest grabbing another radio in quickly to have a look at. Just a random one from my stack. Anybody got any preferences? Let me know. I'm just going to go and grab something in a minute and be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. So before I show you what I've brought in, anybody got anything they'd like to have a look at? Hacker, Roberts, Yahweh 60-watt soldering station, Andrew. No, never heard of it. Volve radio, no. Halley Crafters. No Halley Crafters here, mate. Beer. You've got to have a beer. You've got to have a beer, Jack, haven't you? Incidentally, Jack. Jack. I saw you on a video the other day, Jack. Didn't I? I saw you. First time ever on camera, Jack, I think, wasn't it? So yeah, nice to see you, mate. The other side of the camera. Hallicrafters make a beer, do they? Yeah, Jack, you're out there now, mate. Yeah, you need to make more guest appearances now. So I've pulled out a radio which I think is a classic British radio. Now, story behind this radio, I actually bought one of these and it arrived in pieces pretty much. It was pretty much smashed up inside. And I bought it in for a customer of mine. It was a good customer, a nice, really lovely chap. So I was on the lookout for another one, sent that one back. It was beaten to how Kenny knows what I'm probably on about. So sent that one back and managed to get him another one. But sadly, a few weeks later, the poor chap passed away. So he's never had this radio that I bought in to restore for him, which is a real shame. But it's a classic British radio. It's one that I've always been fond of because I remember my grandparents having one in their kitchen. It was their kitchen radio, and like back in the day, I suppose, and I'm going back into probably the 70s, late 60s, early 70s. I've got memories back from then. There wasn't many houses that didn't have one of these radios in the kitchen. So anybody... Kenny's cracked it. So anybody else guess what it is? I'm sure you did. Yeah. Yes. It's the classic Bush TR-82. Now, you must all, if you're old enough to have lived back then and you actually had one, or if you were younger, then you'll certainly have known your parents or your grandparents had one. These were so popular back in the day. Amstrad. Yeah. What can we say about Amstrad radios without upsetting Lord Sugar? Is Lord Sugar, isn't that, I think? Is it Sir Alan Sugar? Yes. This is the old original TR-82, Simon. This is let's just get you on the bottom badge. This is the 82C. You probably can't see that. Let's see if I can get the light around. Can you see that? Ooh. The TR-82C. The C at the time standing for chrome. And this radio would be dated back into the 60s, I'd have thought. So again, I bought this in from my customer. Let's get you down on the bench so we can have a look at this. I bought this in for the customer, a lovely old chap, sadly passed away, but that's another story. He'd always been on the lookout for one of these. He bought the newer Chinese version, which I think are pretty shocking. Thing to look out for if you want to buy one of these to collect. Try and get the ones either the TR-82B or the TR-82C, but with the actual metal badge. This one's metal. If I get you in a bit closer on that, you'll be able to see. So all these letters here are actual chrome metal. The later ones, these were plastic molded into the case. Well, they weren't molded; they were actually removable. But got a bit of packing stuck in there. Let's get that out. But yeah, the later ones, these are plastic lettering, and the chrome comes off. They were chromed plastic, and the chrome comes off. They start looking tatty. The brass, you could get the brass ones as well, which are solid brass, or you could get the ones that are painted brass. But this is the ones to go for, really, with the actual metal letters. So that's my first ramble for the minute. Yeah. VHF is the, I think it's a VTR 103, isn't it? Something like that, the VHF version. So let's have a quick look at the if you want a non-Chinese version, what you'll find is they call the Chinese version the wonky U, because if you look at the U on the Chinese versions, for some reason they molded it wrong and the U is pinched in at the top, so it's a wonky U. Sounds Chinese as well, doesn't it? Wonky U. Wonky U. Right, Kenny, we'll get the back off in a minute. Yeah, so this is actual, I can feel the cold. They're actual metal letters. So on the, it's got a slightly misted dial on it. These all suffer from that. I mean, I might be able to polish that out clean. It's moving lovely, actually. Chrome metal ring around it. It's not Bakelite, it's like a hard plastic. I don't think it's Bakelite. It's a long wave, medium wave radio. It's got on-off tone, a separate volume switch, so the on-off switch is on the tone, not the volume. So let's get the back open. We've got an aerial socket, look, for an external aerial. I don't know how many people used an AM aerial back in the day. It's got a bit of stress around that screw by the looks of it. Obviously it's designed to be opened by a coin, not a screwdriver. So gently and again, I've never tried this radio. I don't know if it works or not, and I don't know if it's the version with the dreaded AF117s. I don't think it is, because this is one of the earlier ones. But the back is looking good. Another thing you'll notice with these radios, what to look out for, is that these corners are all intact. All of this plastic around the edge is all there. If that's broken, then you know the radio's been dropped at some stage. So that one's looking good. Again, it's using a PP9 battery. I'm sure you can see that. So let's have a look in the back then, see what we got. So we've got our two tabs. Sadly, our things are broken. Our little label. Switch off battery, switch off receiver when changing the battery, or damage to transistors may result. So no, we've got the older style OC series transistors in this, OC71, OC45, OC45, and OC44. We've got these Plessey electrolytics, which are pretty bad. Now Kenny is saying there's a capacitor with a date code on it. Here we go. So this is pretty much dated this radio for manufacture roughly. Are you going to be able to see that or not? December 59, look. See that on that transistor? Oh, that capacitor. So that dates this radio as 59. So there you go. That's a nicely laid out radio. Nice and easy to work on. And apart from these Plessey capacitors, can you see that in there? That red and black thing? These are notoriously bad. I think there's some on the other side of the board as well. But the transistors are not the metal canned AF series, so the likelihood is this set will work. So should we try it? Shall we try it? The answer is always yes, I know, but I like to ask, because some people want to say, nah, chuck it back and get someone else. Wonky you. There's a link into the Wonky U there. See no feckle. So Kenny, has yours got the OC series, or you got the AF11? I think the newer ones with the plastic lettering have the AF117s in them, which are nasty. Let's get some power on him then. Go with the clamp leads. So let's get 9 volts up it and see what happens. I'm assuming that red is live and yellow is negative, positive and negative. Let's get you around the business end. Turn the volume down a bit. Okay. Fire in the hole. Chassis number, Kenny, is A177, mate. So A177 is the chassis number on this. Right, let's go with medium wave. Fire in the hole. Oh, got RF noise. 20 milliamps.
Start. What's up, Albert? I asked. A couple of columns over there got direct hits. The school goes on and on. Can't be men. They couldn't scream that horribly. Wounded horses, says Kat. I have never heard a horse scream, and I can hardly believe it. There's a whole world of pain in that sound. Creation itself under torture.
What is this?
While...
What on earth have I just tuned into? I'm sure it sounds like Deliverance, a certain scene in Deliverance where someone had to squeal like a pig. Huh?
And this is on purpose. The firing dies away almost completely. The screams of the
What the flag is on the goal ain't gonna count. Steve Claridge.
Oh, he doesn't need to make that run so early. It's a wonderful ball in. He really doesn't. But he stood in offside position. No doubt about that. From the start, he's in an offside position. That's one where we didn't need VAR. I know that. It's definitely the right decision.
So as you can hear, the light is interfering with it. I can't turn the light. Well, I might be able to. Let me just have a look, see if I can switch the main light on here. Turn that one off. Can you still see there okay? Let's have a look. Yeah, you can see there okay.
Rudiger. Now back comes Kovacic. Was that a foul over Charlison? No. Nose of the referee. Play on. Charlison rolling around on the ground. Everton.
There's a lot of stations that's picking up in the background, actually. Can you remember last week when we went on a bit later and there was medium wave was absolutely alive last time?
Yeah, again, it's that acute angle from where we're...
The work of the nation, the work of the people, the work of those who have sacrificed.
British casualties was enormous and growing all the time. 2,000 at Mons, 13,000 at the Marne, 55,000 at the First Battle of Ypres, 59,000 at the Second, 209,000 British and Imperial troops down in the Dardanelles.
Wow. What do you think? What do you think? That's very good. Yeah, you can't get long wave at all. How long does a PP9 last? Sounds good, doesn't it? I'm impressed with that. We need to pop it on long wave for a try, don't we?
In 2018, this year obviously,
The 1st, the 8th and the 15th were all to be concerned with incidents on the Western Front, the beginning of the 100 Days, the successful battle that made Germany quit in the First World War. That left the 22nd. Now the 22nd, we definitely wanted to talk about the Americans in some context. So we go to the 22nd, almost forced to go there, and you look at what's going on the American front.
There's another station there, but I think the light, even though it's turned off, the power supply for the light is playing up. Let's check that. Oh, it's not actually that. Something's interfering with it. It might be this. Yeah. It's my iPad.
Find these characters and these real people we could base characters on, they're just there. And you look at this particular day. Selma Amy Valentine was the VAD who was.
There we are. Classic old British radio, that is. Gotta have one of those in your collection, surely. Lovely bit of kit. I could probably squeeze a little bit more out of that as well with tweaking, but as Kenny knows, the cores in these do get very fragile. So if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, so to speak. So all I would do on this radio really is whip the chassis out, redo the caps. There's only one visible here really, and this one, it's nice to keep that for the date code, I suppose, but possibly see if I could restuff that. I'm not sure what it is. 12 volts. Can't read the value on it offhand. No, I can't read the value on that. 12 volts. So the value is just out of sight. That might be 8. Is that 8 microfarads? Can't quite see that. It's either 6 or 8 microfarads, that, so I could probably restuff that with a modern axial and just retain that. Be nice. Plessy cap on the output, that's going to be dodgy. That needs changing really. Easily serviceable. You can switch clean that, no problem at all. Though it sounds good. It's a really good radio actually. It's in really good condition. All the lugs are there. This is the earlier version as well, where the actual lug is molded in. The later ones had that horrible metal clip that went on. So no, I'm really pleased with this one. It's in great nick. I would say that's quite a valuable radio, to be honest, because that's really good nick. It's got the chrome. It sounds good. The tuning cap is bang on. Doesn't use the AF117 transistors, so that is a lovely radio. So let's have a look at the comments. I've got some ideas for next week's live stream as well, so we'll have a chat about that in a minute. Get that. Nope. Right. I need to screw the back on in a minute. Let's have a look what we're up to. Yeah, I think I don't know, have you seen those I think Simon had one, didn't he? One of those like inductant, I don't know what you call it. Basically inductance coupled loops that you can get. Whether that would help you, Kenny. Simon did review one on his channel actually. I think Texan make them, don't they? So what are we saying? Okay. You got 8 of them, Jamie, have you? Come on. Yeah, the AF what, yeah, Tim has actually got a very special radio, haven't you, Tim? Tim was the chap that had the EBM 60 off me. I did show the MB 60 the other week, didn't I? The British version. The EBM 60 was the export version, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that might help you, Kenny. Surely that would pull you in some long wave. It must do. You must be able to get well, I was saying that, I don't know. Radio 4 used to broadcast on quite a high power transmitter. I don't know whether they do these days. Tim, at the moment, I did say earlier, my 3D printer's packed up, mate. I've done it. It's drawn. It's all drawn, ready to go. But I haven't been able to print out a prototype to try because the head is blocked on my 3D printer. So I sent it off on Friday. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks it'll be back. But I've not been able to print anything for ages. Simon, this is your YouTube video, Simon, is it? Oh, right, okay. You've got the little rectangular blue sticker, I think, haven't you, Kane, that's got the BBC frequencies on it. I have seen them stuck to radios. I can't lay my hands on one right this second, but I have seen them before. That's right, yeah. No, you carry on, Simon. No problem at all. Yeah, so it is worth looking out for the ones with the metal letters. And very often the people that are selling them don't realise the difference, and you really got to study the photos quite intently to find the ones with the metal letters. The brass ones look really smart when they're cleaned up. They really do bling. I think my MB60 has got that. Yeah, don't buy the wonky U. It was you, Simon, that did the Texan one, wasn't it? That's your video there, isn't it? I'm sure that's a link to your video. Yeah. I've got to knock myself out chat now. Hi, Dracos. How are you? Or Dr. Chaos. Sorry, Dr. Chaos. How are you? How do you spell wonky? Pretty much like you just spelt it, Kenny, I think. So yeah, avoid the wonky U version. They're plastic, Chinese. You take the back off of them, you can certainly tell you've got a little tiny printed circuit board in there, and that's about it. It's not like these. These are classic old British radios. I've actually got it on now, look. So I'm sure that most of us in here have got one of these. Most of us must have one of these. Any person that collects radios is going to come across one of these at some stage, definitely. Yeah, TR8296 is basically the copy version, isn't it? Listen, there's full on 4 to 30 megahertz. Yeah, that's the newer version. So beware if you're looking to buy one of these, just do a bit of research. There's an excellent site. I'm trying to think of the guy's name now. He's done a lot of work on these. He wrote an article for the British Vintage Wireless Society Journal. Yeah, Sean has a wonky one. Does use it, so I'm trying to think the guy that did the article for the journal. Now he's got a cracking website that basically lists all of them. TR82 Rob somebody or other, I think it was. Just radios. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy now. He's got an excellent site. Basically, he's got a list of all of the ones that were ever made. I think he's got one of every single one. Bit like Tim. Bit like Tim, really. Bear with me. I'm just scouring Google, trying to find him. No, I can't find it offhand. But he was very helpful when I had the EBM 60. He sent me a manual across for it. Just really good of him. What have we got then? Okay. Yeah, there's a review there on the vintage radio of the rebadged one, the TR8297, which is pretty horrible. TR82B. No, I can't find it offhand, but there is a chap that's got a cracking website. If anybody knows it, just pop me a link across and I'll that's it, Richard Derwent. You're right there, Tim. Tim's hit it on the nail. Let's just see if we can find him a minute. I'll pop your link on. He did write an excellent article. I can't even spell now. Richard Derwent. Richard Derwent photography. No, I found a Richard Derwent, but not TR82, man. Bear with me. Talk amongst yourselves while I just try and find this. Is Derwent or Darwent? It might be Darwent, actually. Darwent, you're right there. I put it down as Derwent. Richard Derwent Bush. That's a shame. I can't find it. I am still searching, so. Profiles, just give in, company check. No, I can't find it offhand, but if I find it, I will put it in. Oh, hang on, here we go. Andrew's got it. Waves in the air. There we go. Yeah. Dr. Chaos, you got some boat anchors, have you? I've got one over there that takes 2 of us to lift it off the desk. So yeah, I think if you click on that link, open it in new tab, you won't get binned out. But Rob Darwin has done a lot of stuff on the MB60 TR82 series. And the direct link to that, I think is Kenny's put that in, hasn't he? Yeah, Kenny's put the direct link into that. So if anybody's interested in this series of radios, then follow that link that Kenny's just put in, or Andrew Alsfa. And there's nothing much you don't know about these radios. He's a very, very nice chap as well. If you get the chance or you need to contact him, he's very, very obliging. Hi Keith, how are you, mate? Northern California, hopefully a bit warmer over there than it is here. Although it's been quite nice today, actually, I can't complain. All right, okay. Simon's just posting a link there to the Texan loop antenna that we were talking about. So that'll help reception on medium wave, but it doesn't work on long wave, Simon. Is that what you're saying? Medium wave only? Right. Dr. K, sounds like you've got a radio station going on there by the sound of it. Right. Do we want to do anything else? Anybody else got any requests? Anything you want to see or talk about? Now's your time. We've had Hacker, Bush, Decker, and Roberts today so far. I'm sort of eating a sandwich in the background as well, just to keep me blood sugars and all that up. How about one of these? A Romac. Cheers, Jack. Thank you for that. What's a Romac, Bill? Never heard of that. Something with high voltage in tubes. Yeah. My last effort at high voltage in tubes, Gary, I ended up with something that was full of cobwebs and spiders. So why don't we finish with another classic Roberts that people don't, well, this seems to get overlooked for some reason. I don't know why. You really are one step ahead of the game, aren't you, Mike? Mike really is one step ahead of the game. He must have seen me playing with it. Brushing the dust off. So Simon's been fought with one of these once and lost, I think. I think the radio decided to self-destruct, didn't it, Simon? From memory. fine, Dr. Chaos. Carry on, mate. Nice to have you on board. So these are a little bit rarer. This is a Roberts R500, as Mike actually said. And yes, it does have the dreaded AF117s in it, I'm sure. This one looks like rats have chewed the handle. It is a Roberts R500. Let's get you in a bit closer on the dial. Nice looking radio. But what you'll notice, it's actually got shortwave. Not many Roberts radios had shortwave. This is one of them. You know, it's got the usual busted off bit on the Roberts logo, but it's got a nice brass trim around the grille. Nice brass knobs on it. Lovely, lovely radio. They're very difficult to get in decent condition, though. The back is the classic. Well, it's actually a bit sort of almost hackerized. It's got like a door that opens up. This one, it looks like the batteries have leaked in here, which is lovely. We've got those horrible Alka mode caps in there. And we've got AF. We've got one AF117 and we've got a module. So this module here, I'm sure you can see that, has got some AF117s in it as well. 2 PP9s. Again with some nice corrosion on one. This is a radio I bought in to restore for myself by the looks of it, or for anybody that wants one. You know, I restore stuff, but if someone wants it, then they can have it, really. Well, not have it, but it's everything's for sale at the right price, isn't it? So someone's been in this one, someone's disconnected the speaker, the headphone wires. Was that headphone or was that socket? That might be, yeah, it's headphone. Someone's disconnected the headphone wires there, so I might have to short that out to get to work, but we'll see, it might work. So yeah, it looks like someone's been in this radio. Not me, because I've just pulled it in to restore. It's got quite a low serial number, actually. It's you can see that it's 5119. Did I focus? Yeah, 5119. That. It's a Roberts R500. So quite quite an early one. Excuse me. We've got a bit of rust in here where that battery is leaked, and there's some damage to the timber down the bottom, but it doesn't look to have affected the wreck scene. So we've got some AF117 there, and we've got this module which has got, I think, at least 2 in it from memory. I can't remember. It's a long time ago since I've worked on one of these. But you've got these black capacitors as well, which are unusual. You don't see them in many radios. You've got the red ones, which you saw in the Hacker RP10, but these black ones are quite rare, so it's quite nice to stuff those and keep them as original. But yeah, nice old radio. I wonder if it works. But yeah, that's a handle that's obviously been rat chewed. It's definitely some sort of rodent or something been on that. Look. Nice, tasty. So it's unlikely to work, but we can give it a go if you think we ought to. And yes, Mike is right. We have a brass area on these. Another thing to look for if you're buying one of these is that the area is there and it is the original brass one, because they are very rare. This one is still in one piece, the looks of it, and it's actually pretty straight. The aerial obviously only works for shortwave. It's long wave, medium wave, and shortwave. Yeah, I have mentioned these to you before, Sean. It's a lovely radio. They are getting a lot rarer, and you won't get one with a decent aerial. You'd be very lucky to get one with a decent aerial. So let's get my knackered leads out again. Stick some voltage up it and see what it says. Actually, we should be able to connect this up with just one lead, shouldn't we? Because it should be in series. Let's have a look. Save you some horrible clip leads again. Yeah, looking worse for wear because the battery damage on that, really. I've got that the right way around. Yeah, I think the battery damage has got to the wires there. Well, we do have noise. But we have no signal, so let's get something to whack it with. Oh. It's going to be in that module. Don't think he's going to come to life, unfortunately. Nope. So inside this module lives some AF117s, and that's going to be what's killed it. These capacitors aren't going to help either. They're spewing out the end. You see a little bit of muck on the edge of those. So the amplifier section seems to be working. But yeah, the dreaded AF117 strike again. No, it's worth a try. Actually, saying that, we've got to pop it up to to 18 volts, isn't it? It's not 9 volts that. See if that'll burn some of them off. Let's pop it up to 18 volts and see if that will spring it into life. No, I don't think it's gonna. No, whacking ain't gonna work. Well, there you are. Another case of AF117 tin whisker syndrome. So let's get on the chat. I think that we're near the end now. Dropped me little bucket that had the bits in it for the Andrew's radio. So you can get you back up and just a final chat now, and we'll probably call it a day then. If I can zoom it in properly, there we go. Right. Let's get up a little bit taller because I'm a bit taller than that, aren't I? There we are then. I'll say easily repairable, that one. Put the clamp around the front power wire in between. Okay, there's 3 wires off the radio, 18 volt, but 9 for section, 18 for amp. Needs 9 volts. Okay. So it needs 9 volts as well, so stop. Well, maybe I should have connected 2 lots of 9 volts to it, Simon. Is that what you're saying? Looks to me like they're in series though, surely. Oh, hang on. Yeah. What are we on about, Simon? It looks definitely the yellows are connected together, look. Yes. Nice little radios. He said this one is in pretty good nick actually. You can't quite make out the lettering still, but that should be able to be coloured in. Very well made radios back in the day. And say there's not many radios with shortwave on them. So let's have a look what else we're saying. Whack-a-mole, yeah, we've done that. Hit it like I mean it, yeah. Cheers, Andy. I might have to crack one more beer. N2368. Dr. Chaos has got 2N2368. Condensators. So I thought next week I've got a couple things in the pot. I bought myself quite some time ago now a massive great boombox, a Grundy Party Center 800. It's probably about that wide. It's a monster of a thing, but it had a broken aerial on it, but I managed to find an original aerial for it. It's an old vintage radio cassette from probably the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, I would think. So I could pull that out next week for a look, see how it goes. I've got the other thing I could look at is the stuff that I picked up at the NVCF this year, the National Vintage Communications Fair over in Warwick, basically, up in Warwick earlier this year. I bought quite a few bits and pieces, and I've still got them all. I've not got rid of anything that I bought from there, and a lot of it I haven't even tried yet. I got myself a Nakamichi tape deck, which I won't be able to show because that's a monster, and I'm not going to attempt to fire that up until I've had a good look at it, because it's brilliant stuff. But yeah, the boombox is good. So you've got Manchester Derby live on an R700. You got an R700, Sean? Have you? I didn't think you had a 700. Yeah, I know what you mean, Dr. Chaos. I don't think I've got any 2N2368s, but they are metal canned. Silicone, aren't they? Not germanium. Yeah, the boombox is good, Jack. It's a lovely bit of kit. It needed a new aerial. It probably needs new belts as well, but I might get it out in the week for a quick look. So yeah, I showed the Hacker cassette Sovereign the other week. We managed to get a massive of hits for copyright on that, but you know, it was a good fun day. I enjoyed it anyway. So I might get the boombox out. What's my favourite Roberts? 1950s Roberts, 1950s or 1960s? I don't know really, Andy, because they've all got their place, haven't they? I mean, this is probably, I don't know what the date on this is. It's probably 1960 something, I'd have thought. Can't see any dates on anything really. Not that I'm likely to, but it's quite an early serial number, so I don't know when the R500 was made. Sean wants that one by the sounds of it. So yeah, I've got quite a lot of stuff that I bought from the NVCF. I've got radios, I've got some test gear, well, not test gear, but some like lab gear that you'd have in your workshop. Got quite a few radios, that sort of thing, so might be interesting to pull them out. But yeah, I like the R200, R300s, Andy. RT8, RT7. I like them all. This is the problem, I like them all. You know, I draw the line when it gets into like the 90s, 2000s, then it all went downhill from there on. So I don't really, I've got radios from that era, but I don't collect them as such. I just buy them in to sell them on, I suppose. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, the build quality it's all mass produced now, and I know it's mass produced back in the day, but on a much smaller scale. And you know, there was a lot of engineering and like skilled people about. Nowadays, it's all done by machines, isn't it? You know, everything's done by machines. The things are assembled by machines. There's nothing assembled by hand. Nothing's hand finished anymore. It's all like just get it in and get it out quick. You know, this would have been put together by a person, I'd have thought, not a machine. Same with the bushes. I'm sure they were put together by hand. You know, they would have had a production line for certain things, but nowadays it's all robots, isn't it? It's a Nakamichi. I believe it's a 581, Simon. I believe it's a 581, mate. I bought it at the NVCF. It's a lovely deck. I'm probably going to do the recap on it myself, and I might do the belts if I can get some good quality ones. But the alignment, I'm going to send it off to have the alignment done. I'm going to do the majority of the work on it, but I'm not. I want it to be as absolutely perfect as it can be, so I want it aligned absolutely spot on. I think it's a 581. I will double check a minute, Simon, just to make doubly sure. Again, I can bring it up to have a look at it, but yeah, I think let's just find some images of it. Yeah, so it's a Nakamichi 581, Simon, definitely. I think there's some on eBay at the moment, but Wix.com. Yeah, that's just rubbish. But Nakamichi, I mean, they did make the absolute best in decks, didn't they? Let's have a look, see if I can find it. Click UK. No, that's just an eBay previous listing, that is. Just trying to see if I could find a picture on it just to quickly post on, but there's lots of links to eBay basically. But yeah, if you type in Nakamichi 581, I'm sure you'll find some pictures of it. It's a lovely deck, but I do want to get it professionally aligned, really. Certainly is, Tony. I think there's another one. I had a look yesterday. There was someone that had a listing of all the original sales prices of the Nakamichis, and the Dragon was about, I don't know, it might have been £1,000, something like that. But there was another one that was about £3,000 new. Crazy money. Dragon is a amazing deck. I'd love to have one, but I think my 581 is going to more than do me. I say I did want a reel-to-reel player, really, but I've got the Nakamichi, which I'm definitely going to keep to play on my old cassettes. But I might pick up a reel-to-reel at some stage when funds allow. Really, it's all down to cash at the end of the day. But yeah, I've got some nice gear that I picked up at the NVCF. So really is, I've got loads of stuff still. I could go on for months doing live streams with the stuff I got here. Anyway, I'm pretty much going to call it a day there now. So, oh, good afternoon, Joy Dip. You're just joining, and I'm just about to go. Look, so apologies for that. Yeah, Andy, give me a call or send me a message. I've got to go out in the morning, but I'll be home probably from midday onwards. Back at the bench, playing with the R707 and the well, just the R707 tomorrow. I think we'll get that one put back together. I'd love to have a Dragon, Simon, but I haven't got a Dragon, unfortunately. I might one day, you never know. I might swap mine for a Dragon. Cheers, Jack. Nice to have you on board, mate. Great to see you in there. I always enjoy watching your channel. I don't always comment, but always watching, mate. So always give you the thumbs up. Certainly got lots of stuff here, Dr. Chaos. Lots of stuff, as people have seen previously. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Really enjoyed chatting again. Hopefully you've enjoyed what I've shown you today. Plenty more to come. I've got loads more repairs still to go. So I got enough pretty much to last me the rest of this year for repair-wise. So I'm not really taking any more repairs on. So bye to everybody, and catch you all next week. I've got another video hopefully coming out this week on the Sony ICF 77 SW77 recap part 2. So there we go. Anyway, cheers everybody. Catch you all next week and have a good one. Bye for now.